Hey everybody. So, it's finally come to this. This weekend, this Saturday at 12 o'clock, Jackets are playing frickin' North Carolina in Chapel Hill. And, of course, the big story is that Geoff Collins is their DC. So, made plenty of videos about this, talked about this a lot. Them hiring him as a DC was obviously a huge mistake, a desperate move by a very old coach on his last leg coaching there at North Carolina. Tried to tell you this offseason. Tried to tell you what was going to happen, and I went back and looked at my video about him, me laughing at them hiring Geoff Collins as a defensive coordinator, and read some of the comments today, and it was cracking me up. It was really cracking me up because I had North Carolina fans in the comment section talking about, well, just because he was a bad head coach doesn't mean he's going to be a bad coordinator. He was a good coordinator, blah, 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 blah. I try to tell you numbnuts freaking Carolina fans what was coming. Was I not prophetic in this? Tried to tell you that Mac Brown, without Drake May, I said this several times, out Drake May, 6-6 team. The North Carolina defense has been horrible for years. They've been awful. You think Geoff Collins was going to come up in there and fix that? No. He learned nothing from his time at Georgia Tech. He thinks that he got screwed over and that he was done dirty and it wasn't his fault because the only reason he fell was because of COVID, and his position coaches and coordinators were sabotaging him so that they could take over his job. That's what he gathered and gained and learned from the Georgia Tech fiasco. I said all this, I'm saying just all the same stuff that I said back in January or whenever they hired him. And you guys laughed at me for him. Now I'm seeing Rec Talk sent me a freaking picture today. Frat house is hung up. That's a hell with Geoff sign. Halfway through the season, they want to run him out of town already. Told ya! Hey, and I'm glad it's not happening at my program anymore. He's a cancer. And he's a horrible football coach. He was never going to come in there and fix your freaking defensive issues. He's not a good coach. I thought maybe there was a chance of him maybe, being an okay coordinator. But it wasn't going to happen in North Carolina. He wasn't going to come in there and fix your defense. You've had issues on defense for so long. It was never going to be him to fix it. And it's so funny to me, too, because last year, I remember everybody thought, like, oh, hell, he held Minnesota to freaking whatever points this year. And, oh, my God, maybe he did change the defense after all. Which, first of all, it's Minnesota, dude. They have no offense. They're a Big Ten team. They have no freaking offense. Second of all, I remember them saying the exact same thing last year when they played Minnesota in Week 1. Oh, well, Gene Chizik, maybe he's got something figured out here. Look, we only gave up 20-something points to Minnesota. Well, it turns out Minnesota's just terrible. And even this, and their stupid freaking Twitter account, there's an ACC guy on a Twitter account saying, it's changed in North Carolina. Turned a corner with the defense. Geoff Collins was the right hire right after the Minnesota game. Unbelievable that they fell for that twice in 2 years, back-to-back years. Because I saw the same crap said about Gene Chizik last year. And Tech fans were never fooled for a second. There's Tech fans calling them out, calling all these stupid people out who, believed in Geoff Collins. And, hey, they freaking drank the snake oil, or they bought the snake oil. And that's all he is. He's a fake freaking football coach, snake oil salesman. I had to go through it. Now, North Carolina fans have to go through it. And, after he gets fired from here, he's going to be gone. Who's going to want to hire him? And Mac Brown, and he will be fired because Mac Brown's he's going to retire at the end of this year. Mark my words. I told you, without Drake May, dude, he's done for. The game's passed him by. He's too damn old. And he even talked about, after giving up 70 points to James Madison, talked about stepping down. That is the end times right there. That's the end times. So you're going to be hunting for a new coach after this season. And Geoff Collins is gone too. So luckily you people are only going to have to put up with one season from him. We went through it for, about 3.5 years. And it was the worst coach in Georgia Tech history. And he's just a clown. And Mac Brown is too old to be a football coach anymore. So that's the situation North Carolina's in. They're having an absolutely horrible season. Even in the Minnesota game where you only gave up this and that many points, Geoff Collins' defense literally gave up the 2-minute drill. You give up a 2-minute drill to Minnesota? Are you serious? Give up a 2-minute drill to Minnesota to lose the game, but then they miss a 30-yard field goal. So you win by a hair thanks to their crappy kicker, and everybody's like singing the praises of Geoff Collins as if he had anything to do with it. He gave up the 2-minute drill. And then special teams, which Geoff Collins had nothing to do with, it really was the fault of that kicker who just missed a chip shot. And then you have the debacle. Then they play a couple nobodies. Everybody forgets about them. Then they have James Madison come up, put up 6 points on them, or whatever, 52 or 54 points or something like that and a half. He's setting records, and not the good kind of records. He's setting records of bad things, and he did that at Georgia Tech too. I know it all too well. I can't tell you how many historic losses, like really bad, humiliating, embarrassing losses. Not just losing whatever, not just getting blown out, but humiliating losses. I'm talking about, we lost to Syracuse in the COVID year. They were 1-11 that year, or 1-10. And we were their only win. We lose to the Citadel. We lose to Temple, who he had just come from. And, we're losing all these teams. It's absolutely ridiculous. So he's doing that at North Carolina now, thankfully, instead of Georgia Tech. And, it's not going to get any better. It won't be any better this season. He has these goofy press conferences. I've watched more Geoff Collins press conferences this year than Brent Key. I don't know why I'm such a masochist, I guess, but it's entertainment value. He comes on, and it's funny just hearing him say the same crap over and over that he said to us. But no, it's a very good, comforting feeling knowing that it doesn't happen to us anymore. So I get to enjoy the clown show, and and I don't have to face any consequences of it. It just so happens that they go to a team in which I don't like, which is freaking North Carolina. So very glad to see that. I love to freaking see Geoff fall flat on his face and get exposed from the clown he is, which he was already exposed. For some people, some reason, people just didn't, wanted to give him another chance. I don't know. Tech fans, we knew that all too well what was going to happen here. Just glad it's not us anymore. So, they've had an awful season. About losing Minnesota, give up 70 to JMU. Good Lord. And then you lose to Duke. You hold them to you have them shutting them out. The whole game until the fourth quarter, where you give up 21 unanswered points to lose. Then you lose to Pittsburgh. You're on a 3-game losing streak right now. And it's about to be 4. It's about to be 4 games losing streak this season, and 4 games in a row lost to Georgia Tech. Yeah. These past 2 weeks, there's not 2 teams I don't think that we own more than Duke and North Carolina. So we're playing our son and our daughter back-to-back in weeks, and we're going to go 2-0. Duke being our son and North Carolina being our daughter. So your father's coming into town to put a belt to your ass this Saturday. And the past 3 years have been great facing North Carolina because they've been ranked, top 15 the past 2 years we played them. And it's been great and everything, and I don't like North Carolina, so it's great beating them. I've never wanted them to beat them as bad as I do right now because they got Geoff Collins. And what sucks is, thanks to the new ACC schedule, we're not going to get to play them for another 4 years after this or something like that. We play them twice over the next 7 years because it rotates, whatever. So they get to dodge their yearly humiliation beatdown against Georgia Tech. They get to dodge that in the next 7 years. So we got to make this one count. We got to get one on Geoff, and we got to freaking get one more on North Carolina before they dodge us, man. That sucks. It's a easy win that you count on in the off season. It's an easy win that's getting taken off our schedule. So that really sucks. Or who knows? Maybe we will catch them because the ACC is a poorly ran conference, and the schedule changes every year. The freaking scheduling technique or whatever the hell it is. We were supposed to be playing Louisville every year and Wake Forest. Well, that lasted 1 year, so that could all be different by this time next year. Who knows? But all I do know is that North Carolina, and specifically Geoff Collins, we're coming for that ass. Finally, a chance to get you back for all the pain and suffering you put us through. Everybody should be locked in for this game. I know the Tech fans are. I know we are all dying to get one over on Geoff Collins after everything he put us through. We're all dying for it. I bet you, Brent Key hasn't said anything about it. I bet you he wants to too because there's bad blood between them. Geoff Collins this past week said, he was asked about Brent Key and said, we were friends for a very long time. That's all he said. He rambles on and on every other question they give. But he when asked about Brent Key, he said all he has to say is, we were friends for a very long time. Keyword being were. Coach speak, whatever. That's coach speak for, I hate his guts. And Brent Key, he had nice things to say, but, Geoff Collins blames Brent Key for getting him fired. He's that delusional. He thinks it's Brent Key's fault. So, that's the kind of mindset that Geoff Collins is in. And so, yeah, I'm sure Brent Key wants to beat him. The fans want to beat him. The players, I don't know. The players all loved him because he was their best friend, which is not supposed to be, it's not supposed to be the case. But the players were all his best friend. Now, there's one player in particular that wasn't his best friend. It was Jamal Haynes, which, surprise, surprise, was being misused. Brent Key comes in and immediately figures out, damn, we need to move Jamal Haynes to running back. He's a good running back. Immediately figures that out in one offseason. Meanwhile, Geoff Collins was about to cut him from the roster. He's one of the best backs in the ACC. Geoff Collins was about to cut his scholarship, and his from what I read, his scholarship and early enrollee was mishandled by Geoff Collins. He said that he was supposed to early enroll, so he graduated early from high school, only to find out he can't go to school in the spring because Geoff Collins filled his spot with a transfer. So, yeah, Jamal Haynes has been screwed over by Geoff Collins, and he came out and straight up said that. He said, for personal reasons, I want to put on a show this weekend. I want to, have a really good game because he said, well, I won't go into detail, but we all know what it was. It was almost getting cut and getting the shaft when it came to his early enrollment. So Jamal Haynes is at least taking it personal. Don't know about the rest of the players, but I do know one thing. Jackets are going to be ready to come up into North Carolina and put the hurt on them. If we can score 80 points on them, if we can somehow beat the 222-0 score the record we hold against Cumberland, I want to do that. I want to beat them down into the dirt as bad as humanly possible. I really, really hope that we do. We should. We're the better team, better coached, better players. Oh, North Carolina's so talented. They got a bunch of crappy freaking players, at least on defense. Their quarterback's pretty good. Marion Hampton's good. But we have a good run defense. So, yeah, we'll have to – what we did last week was shut down Duke's run game. They're a run-heavy team. And try to make Malik Murphy beat us with his arm. He couldn't. So, wonder if Criswell can or not. It doesn't matter. But, yeah, we're gonna come in there ready to whoop some ass. I know I'm ready. So, everybody, I will see you this Saturday. Georgia Tech versus North Carolina. Belt to ass. Go Jackets, and I'll see y'all next time.